Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
Okay, welcome back. We are here in Chelek Daled Perek Hey. We are actually getting close to finishing the Sefer. We are about 26 pages to the end of the Sefer. Unbelievable. So we're here towards the end of Chelek Hey. Chelek Daled, beginning Perek Hey. In Yoni HaShabbos Kfulim. We discussed last week about how we have to remain so close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu throughout Shabbos in order to experience that, what Shabbos is really there to experience. And if a person gets angry, he's going to lose that connection. If a person is davuk to Shabbos, then he'll feel Shabbos. And if he's not, he's not. Here, we're switching gears a little bit, but still the same idea of trying to get out of Shabbos what we're supposed to be getting out of Shabbos. So the topic of this parak is Shabbos, Inyane Shabbos Kfulim. It seems that on Shabbos things are doubled. Let's see the examples that he brings. Midrash Tehillim, Tzadik Beis, called Iska de Shabbos Kaful. The Midrash Tehillim says that all the ideas of Shabbos are doubled. Oimer Kaful, Oimer Kaful, Shnei Oimer La'echad. The food that was collected, Klal Yisrael, when they collected the food in the Midbar, they got double. So you might say, no, it was for Friday and Shabbos, but it's referred to as double, which is why we have two breads. And when we're making hamoitzi, you're supposed to make it on two, because it's a zecher to that we got double the amount of mon. Korbanot kaful, the korban of Shabbos is a couple, but Yom HaShabbos shnei kvasim, two kvasim, two sheep. Unsha kaful, mechalea mos yumos. The Torah refers to the punishment of somebody who was mechal Shabbos in a double lashon of mos yumos. Schara kaful, the kartal Shabbos oinig, and the schar is kaful because it says we call Shabbos oinig ulekadesh Hashem mikvoidoi, and Hashem is mekadesh it through His kavod. Mashma that it's kavod and oinig. Azaroseha kfulos. The warnings, the ways that HaKadosh Baruch Hu expresses us how to interact with the Shabbos is double. Zachor and Shamor. Each one of the Aseres Adibra says different. Mizmor kaful, Mizmor shir Yom HaShabbos. It says Mizmor and shir. We discussed many times. We discussed already way back about the different lashonot of Mizmor shir. What is this idea, this double, that everything on Shabbos is double? So that's the topic of this parak. When we get to the idea of double, the idea is a match. When you have a connection, two parts that are connected to each other, what's called zugiut, couples. The two are meant to be together. Etzem inyan hazugiyut hi miyesodot brias ha'olam. The idea of this pairing, of putting two things together, it comes from brias ha'olam. It comes from Hashem, the way Hashem created the world. V'amar Chazal, kol ma shebara HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'olamo zachar nekeva bara shekol hanivraim nivru zugo. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu created everything, it says, in pairs. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created all of life, Zachar Nekeva Baram. V'amnam et inyan hazugot nilmad mimaymer Chazal legabe Shabbos atzmo. The idea of this pairing, says the Midrash, it actually is learned from Shabbos itself. How do you know that? What does the Midrash say? Amr Shabbos lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbos came and said in front of Hashem, L'kol nosan ben zug. All the other, he's referring to all the other days, we're given a partner. Li ein ben zug, I don't have a partner. Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael yeh ben zugecha. Klal Yisrael will be your partner, he says to Shabbos. So, we're going to speak this out, as we see over the course of this parak, but the idea of having a partner in the first place, you see, is brought from the Maisa Bereishis in the first place, which is very interesting because that's the whole source of Shabbos is coming from the creation of the world. Let's see how this plays out. Hamuvan haposhut shel inyan ben zug hu mamish inyan hamalchus sheyizboer bechelek echad. The simple understanding of what it means to have a partner is the idea that we brought out already about malchus, which we discussed back in Chelek Aleph. Kol davar sheyesh bo mala misuyemes miyuchedet lo tzarich sheyeh b'tzido et koyach lotzii et maloso mikoyach al hapoel. There we discussed how you might have a certain mila, you might have some trait, some talent, but you don't have the ability to bring it out, right? Sometimes there could be some very, very talented people out there, but if they're never given the opportunity to show their talent, to bring their talent out, or they just don't have the tools. They might be very, very talented, but they don't have the tools to use that talent, or they don't have the money to bring their idea out. They don't have the wherewithal to bring their potential to reality. So that's why they need something else. They need a koyach to bring it out. When you take the potential and you have something that can bring it out into reality, that is the combination. That is the pair. Two things. One is the koyach. One is the potential. You have the potential there, but there needs to be something else. Coupled with that is another aspect of the ability to bring something out, to make it real. These two aspects, the potential and the bringing that potential to reality, this is the idea behind Zachar and Nekeva in the whole world. I'll just take a second to bring this out because I'm not sure how much he's going to talk about this over here, but there are other svarim that talk at great length about this topic, about how Zachar and Nekeva represents the two aspects of the koyach u'bepoel. And really, this is the way the Kodesh Baruch Hu created the world and created man to be that way. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created that man, as opposed to a woman, is supposed to be the conduit of spirituality. And the woman is supposed to be the kli mekabel, the one who creates the marechet, creates the foundation for the kedushah to be able to come to reality. Meaning the koyach, the potential, is through the man, and the actualizing that potential is coming through the woman. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he gave the Torah, so he actually went to the women first. He went to the women first. So he says, Koi Sumar Lebeis Yaakov. Why did he go to the women first? Because if I'm going to give the Torah, and the Torah needs to have a place to live. The Torah needs to have a place that's going to settle. It needs to be in a Jewish home. Who's the one who's making the Jewish home? The wife is the one who's making the Jewish home. So she has to be ready to be the kibul, the one who's ready to accept what that means to make a home, a spiritual home in a physical world. So therefore, the actualization of it comes through the woman, comes through the nekeva. Whereas the conduit that is brought through is the man, is the zochar. Therefore, you need this combination. You need to have it, otherwise either there's no place for it to land, there's no place for it to go, or there's nothing to bring it. You need to have both things together in order to truly bring the ruchnius into the reality in this world. That's what it means, Zohar and Nekeva. This is just very brief. There are many, many proofs to this, and in the physical world and in the spiritual world to this idea. And the more a person really connects to the idea, both from a husband's perspective and a wife's perspective, the more they'll actually be able to accomplish in this world. A lot of times the reason why people don't accomplish in this world is because they don't realize what they're trying to accomplish. They don't understand, like, what am I trying to do? If you really understood what you were trying to do, so then you would be able to do it a lot better. But if you don't realize what you're supposed to be doing, just trying to survive through life and get what you need to get, whatever. So then you end up missing out on the most basic, important opportunities to really do your job in this world, to accomplish what you're meant to accomplish in this world. Which is why this concept is very important. It's not just, nice fluffy ideas and let's move on, right? It makes me feel good and that's it. If a person really can grasp onto the ideas and say, this is me, this is my job, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, I need to focus on that. And if I do, I'm actually going to fulfill the purpose that I have in this world. So then your fulfillment you'll feel better because I'm fulfilling what I'm actually supposed to be doing in this world. But practically, you will actually be doing it, which is going to be much better for you in this world and in the next world. So now, having gone back, having to side points on that, coming back over here, the milas of a person, his tsura, which is usually referred to as a spiritual term, that is from the father. Like we find that Yerusha is not only about money. In fact, it could be a Yerusha from a woman as well. But when it comes to who you are, your essence, that really mainly stems from the father. So if the father's a Kohen, the son is a Kohen. If the father's a Levi, the son is a Levi, right? So if the father is a king, then his son will be a king, or at least one of his sons will be a king. That is something that his status, his place, who he is, his tsura, is made by the father. This is what the Mishnah in Edius says. The father gives over to his son benoi, beauty, koyach, power, oisher, money, or wealth, I should say, chokhmah, and shonim. Some of these things, they can't be coming from a mother. Whether if a woman is rich and she dies, her kids aren't going to inherit her. That's not the point. The point isn't technically whether it's possible or it's not possible. The point is that this is a hemshech hadvarim. This is how things flow. It flows from the father to his son. That's how the way that family structure is. And what is the mother? Moitzi al yedei ha'em moitzi av es koichosov lepoyo shemamid ben kamol. It is through the wife and the mother that she brings out his potential to have that son who can be the continuation of his father. She's a tafkid ha'em, because that is the place of the mother, lohoitzi koichos ha'av el hapoil, to bring out the potential that the husband has. That's what he said. To bring the potential there to reality, to bring it out in our physical world. That is the purpose of the wife and the mother. That's why the Gemara says in Maseches Brachos and also Maseches Soita that a woman's greatest chus is that she sends her children and her husband to go learn. She sends them out to go learn. And she waits for them to come home. What's pshat in that? What is so easy? Wow, she's going to get the same schar as a husband for learning just by sending him. Wow, that seems like the easy job. Even the Gemara is mashma that way. That Godel, their chelik is bigger than a man's because they send them out. Mashma that I sent him out to learn. Whether he goes and he actually learns or not, that's it. It's up to him. But I sent him out to learn. But I'll tell you a different shot on this, because really, I've been learning about this over the last number of months, if not years, this topic. It's really not as simple as that. Because of the structure that we just explained, that there's really, just to advance the structure a little bit more than that, really the source of everything is Hashem. Hashem is the one who sends Shefa down here into the earth. He sends everything down. But how does he send it down? He sends it down through pipelines. Really, in every home, the pipeline is supposed to be Hashem sends that shefa, all of that goodness, everything that he wants to bless his family with through the husband. And through the husband, it gets channeled into the wife. And the wife brings it to reality. She's the kli kibul. She's the one who accepts it at the end, but it comes through the husband. So on the one hand, The husband is the one who's giving it to his wife. On the other hand, he's getting it from Hashem. It's not coming from him only. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to send down Shefa as he decides. However, we know that there's a klal, let's give the example of Torah learning. There's a klal, Yagati Umatzati. Yagati Umatzati means I worked hard, and because I worked hard, I was able to be successful. Now, Yagati Umatzati doesn't really mean that. Yagati Umatzati means I worked hard and I found it, which is kind of like a funny thing, you know? It should say I worked hard and I earned it. It shouldn't be I worked hard and I found it. What does it mean I found it? It's like I really worked hard and then I found 200 shekels on the floor. How hard did you have to work to find 200 shekels on the floor? It happens to be I was walking down the street and I found 200 shekels on the floor. What does it mean that you worked so hard to find 200 shekels? No, that's what I do. I'm a professional Aveda finder. Right? I go around the beaches with metal detectors looking for people's phones that they were thrown into the ocean, right? That's what I do, right? That's certainly there's not a reference to Talmud Torah as the Gemara when it talks about this, what it means. But what it means, I heard many years ago, I'll give you the shortened version. What it means is that our ability to learn Torah and what we take in and how it affects us, it really comes from two parts. One part comes from how hard we work, and the other part is that it has to come from Hashem. We can't, like we discussed in one of the previous prakim about all chachma. All chachma, really, we don't have the ability to do it, and Hashem just gives it to us. A couple prakim ago, we discussed that. Certainly, when it comes to Torah, that's true. We don't have really the ability, just like Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have the ability to understand the whole Torah, and Hashem gave it to him as a gift. So we don't have the ability to understand the whole Torah. Hashem gives it to us as a gift, but there's a tanai to that gift. There's a condition to the gift. The condition is that you work hard. Just like Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu worked hard 40 days and 40 nights. He didn't sleep. He didn't get it. So Hashem gave it to him as a gift at the end. But that's the condition. Work hard. Yagati. Work hard. If you work hard, matzati, you'll find it. Because you didn't earn it. Hashem gave it to you. So that's what it is. You need to work hard, and then you'll find it. So you have this getting from Hashem, right? Now coming back to the point that I was making before, and that is that this relationship between the Zohar and the Nekeva, and how this relationship goes, for a woman to truly be Zoiche, it's not just that she sends her kids out to learn. It has to be that the ratzon of the woman is that her husband should learn. In other words, there's a relationship, but the relationship between a husband and wife is much more than just, oh, go learn, and I'll be waiting for you. A husband is more than just a pipeline. The pipeline doesn't have anything of itself. Right? And the truth of the matter is, if we really, really were that double to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then we really would be. Then there would be the direct relationship between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the wife, because the husband would be so double to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that it's like he didn't exist. But the Maisa, in most situations, what it is that the husband is only going to be giving that shefa to his wife depending on what she wants. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu came to women before Matan Torah, and they said, listen, there needs to be a place for the Torah to rest. You have to, we need you to accept the Torah first in order so that it should have a place to rest. Okay, so the women of Klal Yisrael accepted the Torah. But that really is dependent on each individual. As a whole, as a nation as a whole, they accepted it. But each individual is going to decide, how much do I want it? How much do I want the Torah in my home? That will be seen through the encouragement that she gives to her husband. If she says, I want the Torah in our home, a husband's going to feel that. Husband's going to know, what does my wife really want? What does she really want? This is going to be intuitively on a subconscious level. Sometimes it might be a little bit, blatant, sometimes. But probably most of the time, it's going to be under the surface. It's going to be a general feeling in the home. What is the feeling that's being given off in the home? Is the feeling being given off in the home that the most important thing in the world is Torah, and we'll do anything, we'll be Moshe Nefesh, and we're going to do anything for Torah? If that's the feeling, then the husband will know that. He'll feel it, and he'll know that it's true. And because she wants the shefach, so the shefach comes through her husband. The husband then wants to give it to his wife. Whatever she says she wants, that's what a husband is going to want to give. So if she really wants Torah, so then the husband is going to give her that. That's what happened with Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva went to learn Torah because his wife wanted him to go learn Torah. So she sent him. She didn't just send him like, oh, go learn. She sent him with all the rutzin in the, this is what I want, go learn. And there's the famous story that after 12 years, he came home. He didn't see her for 12 years. And he's outside the door, and he's listening to this conversation between his wife and a neighbor. When's your husband come home? He's abandoned you already, right? What do you think? And what did she say back to the neighbor? She said, if it were up to me, stay for another 12 years. That said to him, that's what her ratzon is. That's what she wants. She wants me to stay for another 12 years. I want to give her what she wants. So that's why he turned around to go learn for another 12 years. He only had that koyach to do that. He had the koyach, but to bring it out, he needed her to bring it out. He needed her. Without that, he couldn't bring it out. Couldn't bring it to reality. So depending on what she wants, if she said, no, I want my husband to learn, but you know what? The neighbors over there got a new car, and, I kind of want that car too. And then, I like this vacation, and then I want to have this, I want to have that. So the husband's going to feel that also, even if she doesn't say those things straight out. But if that's the feeling, that's what he'll want. That's what she wants. That's what I want to give her. And he'll go in that path and to do what if that's what she wants, and that's what I'll give her. So it's much more than just, I'm sending my husband to go learn. What do you mean I send my husband? But what is that what you really want? But there's a story with Rav Nosson Kopchitz's mother. I believe that's what the story was. Rav Nosson Kopchitz, she live and be well, I may have asked him. He's one of many, many siblings who all became either big Talmidei Chachamim Gedolei Ador or married to Gedolei Ador. I think his oldest sister was married to Rav Nissim Karelitz. And somebody asked, the way I heard the story, somebody asked his mother, how are you zoichet that all your children became so great? So she said, I only wanted Torah. So I also only wanted Torah. No. I only wanted Torah, nothing else. There was nothing else I wanted. This is it. That was the only thing. Some people want Torah and they also want this. Some people want Torah and they want that and the other. They want to have a few things more. That I wanted only this, only. So that's what I davened for. When that's what you want, this is what the nekeva is saying. This is the shefa that I want to receive. So that's what's sent. So that's what it means. That the nekeva is the one who's bringing it down, and the more she is doubled to the one who's sending it to her, the more more easily she can get that direct shefa from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Anyway, got a little bit off topic here. So let's try to do one more paragraph over here to explain this bringing out mikoyach halapoyel. V'zeu she'omer Shabbos. This is what we said about Shabbos. Kol sheishes yimei ha'maaseh yesh lahem ben zug. All the 6 days of the week, they all have a pair. Ayin sham b'medrash shemashma sheben zug shel yom rishon hu yom sheni. Right? The medrash is mashma. The pair is day 1 and day 2. But the gra. Amnam B'Shem Agra, the Vilna Gaon said, no, that's not the pairing. Sheben Zug Shel Yom Rishon Yom Revi'i. The first day and the fourth day. Why? Shebeshneim Meleches Ha'or. Because both of them deal with light. Day one is with the koyach of light. There was this light and darkness, but what was the source of the light and the darkness? So that was brought out by the sun and the moon and the stars. That's where the light and darkness came to physical fruition. V'shel Yom Sheni Hu Yom HaChamishi Shebem Melechas HaRikiyah. Day 2, which was the splitting of the upper waters and the lower waters, was made into fruition by the creation of sea life and birds. Vishal Yom Shlishi or Yom Shishi, Shebehem Malachas HaYavasha. The work of the land was created on the 3rd day, but then the inhabitants of the land came only in the 6 days. That's the pairing. Again, the same idea. We brought the potential, but now we have to actualize it. We have the light, but where is it actually coming from? We have the water and the sky. What's it being used for? We have the land. Who's living there? V'nir hamuvan Yom Rishon Yom Revi Hem Zug. So day 1 and day 4 are a pair. Yom Rishon Nivra Shamayim Haaretz. On the first day, Shamayim Haaretz. And that's why we have the sun and the moon. But Yom Revi Nivru HaMa'oros HaMeviim Et Kol HaShefa Min HaShamayim Haaretz. So the sun and the moon were created on the 4th day to bring that shefa on day 4 to what was created on day 1. They are the ones who bringing out the koichos, the potential that was there before. Same thing with regard to light. They're the ones who are, now we have the sun and the moon. They're the ones who are actually bringing the light into the world. The 2nd day and the 5th day are connected. Why? Like we just explained, day 1 was the ocean and the sky, and now we have the inhabitants of the ocean and the sky, the fish and the birds. Through the birds and the fish, now it's being used. It's being used l'maaseh. On the 3rd day, the earth was formed. Now the plant life. And who's using it? Ben Zugo Yom Shishi. Shabo Nivru Achayot. Now the animals were created on the 6th day. Ubeikra Adam, and man as well. The called Daire Ara, and all the inhabitants of the earth. Shemishtamshim Be'eretz Shimush Maisi. Ubeoifen Shekol Yoim Yesh Lo Ben Zug. All the days, you see, have this potential and then brought to actuality. Hainum Shemoiti et Koichoisov. We're going a little bit overtime over here, but the idea that he's going to bring out is, you see, this concept is going to apply as well. You know what? Let's just finish this because it's just a O space, because it's the same topic instead of starting here and next week. And this is what it means that Shabbos came in front of Hashem with a taina. Well, everything else in creation has that koyach to the poil. Everything else in creation has these 2 steps, has the potential and is being actualized. It's being brought out about Shabbos kodesh he min ha'elyonim. We call inyani kedushah Hashem Yisbarach. Mihu ben zuga b'olamenu. Shabbos is way above. Shabbos is a Shechinah coming in. So Shabbos says, who can possibly bring out my koyach? Who can bring out my potential? My potential is so great. My potential is the potential for HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. So who's going to be my partner in this? Who can it possibly be? Mihu ben zuga b'olamenu, in this world, who could possibly be? As kedushah Shabbos, who could bring out the kedushah Shabbos? This is what Hashem says back to Shabbos. Yisrael will be your partner. Yisrael mekablim et kedushah Shabbos, because Klal Yisrael has the ability to accept the holiness of Shabbos. Halacha l'maaseh. In reality, in this world, mitchabrim al yedei zeh b'Hakadosh Baruch Hu, and that's how we can make this zug, this pair, this couple. That's how they can make this duo to come together to bring out that potential into reality. All that potential for kedusha. Who can do it? Klal Yisrael can do it. Okay, We'll see how, Be'ez Hashem, next week. Shkoach.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.